Sophia Cunningham is being punished for saying what every WNBA fan is thinking. The officiating is an absolute joke. For weeks, the frustration from players, coaches, and fans have been boiling over, turning every game into a potential powder keg of controversy. But while many are thinking it, Sophia Cunningham is saying it loudly, and she's paying the price for it. The league just slapped her with a $1,500 fine, not for a hard foul, not for on court scrap, but for words. Yes, family, words. For speaking her mind on her own podcast. This isn't just about one player's social media anymore. This is about a league that seems far more interested in silencing its most passionate players than it is fixing a problem that is actively hurting the game. Disrespecting its stars and insulting the intelligence of every single fan who tunes in. What's happening to Sophia Cunningham is a disgrace, and it's a symptom of a much larger disease that's starting to rot the WNBA from the inside out. So, what exactly did Sophia Cunningham do to earn a $1,500 donation to the league office? She started a podcast, and on the very first episode of Show Me Something, she spoke with brutal honesty about the state of the WNBA officiating, which we'll get to in a minute. And she said, and I'm quoting here, if I was a ref, I know I would mess up all the time. Like, I'm not saying that your job is easy, but when it is a simple call right in front of your face multiple times, what are you doing? What are you doing? She continued, they're just so inconsistent. If you're on the other team and you're going to be following this SHIT out of me, cool. But let me do it to you. And it also reminds me, family, what that saying, if someone paints you a picture, don't let them paint you another one. Well, if you're a referee and they're painting you the picture of the same foul right in front of you, why aren't you calling it? That's basically what Sophia Cunningham is saying. I like to break down things down from a childlike perspective or a C student perspective. And so for that, for saying the exact same thing that echoes through the arenas and social media every night, the league came for her wallet. On her second episode, she revealed her GM pulled her aside with a smile and said, "Hey, they're going to find you again. Again, because this wasn't even the first time. Just a few weeks prior, the league fined her $500 for a TikTok, which I'm showing you guys on the screen, where she lip synced to a song by Sabrina Carpenter called Man Child, clowning the referees, a TikTok video. And what was Sophia's response to the latest fine? Total defiance. She has already said on her first episode, if you finding me for $500, it's not going to do SHIT. It turns out a $1,500 fine won't shut her up either. She is putting her money where her mouth is, and in doing so, she's becoming the voice for players who are too afraid of league punishment to speak up, and she's taking the hits, both on the court as an enforcer for her teammates and off the court as a truth teller. Basically, Sophia Cunningham, like, look, bro, I'm a part of this league. I'm a part of this franchise, but she's smart from a marketability standpoint because she's not excluding or I should say, how can I put this? She's not abandoning her own self brand, but she's doing it in a positive enforcement way. It's not like she's not fighting for the right things or saying the right things in regards that fans have been saying that is loyal to this game, as players will want fans to be loyal to the game because then that's the consumers, right? We are the consumers. So what I'm saying is it brings more brand deals and also um opportunity when it comes to sponsors for her own self brand. So $1,500, $500 of a fine ain't gonna mean nothing when it doubles up the amount she's gonna get when it comes to her own marketability when she make more on her self brand than when she makes in her own league. So I say get both of them bags. Get all the bags, girl. Keep getting that money. And at the end of the day, real corporations, corporate America, they love not only self accountability, but they also love constructive criticism, looking at the outskirts of things, especially when it comes to consumers. In this case, we're talking about the basketball league, the women's basketball league. So when you really look at it, she's paying attention to the consumers from a user experience standpoint when it comes to experiencing the WNBA, when it comes to the referee and how the game is being played and the total dynamic of it. So she just calling out what the consumers are saying, advocating with the consumers, and what corporation don't want somebody like that advocating for the consumers because they don't want to lose their consumers because that's how they generate revenue. Right? Common sense, critical thinking. So I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So she's putting her money where her mouth is, and she's becoming a voice for players. She's taking the hits and all of that, right? So the league wants to punish her for it, but for the fans, she's becoming a hero. That's why I said I love it. I'm not condoning or supporting being against your organization, but I am for building your organization. In this case, when it comes to Sophie Cunningham in the WNBA, I think she should actually be the one that is the president of the union. But the union are really known for being very selfish when it comes to generating money for themselves, when it comes to unions and jobs. Because at the very thing is the union can be the enemy of the corporation because they're always looking to pull money out of that organization for their own benefit as a union to continue to generate revenue just by catering to the employees' needs. But there's a fine line between that, right? Because what happens when you start taking so much money and exhausting the company where nobody can have anything? Then that's where the union can be the company's enemy. Because at the end of the day, if the company don't have the revenue to justify making the changes that the union is fighting for on behalf of the employees, it becomes a problem. So I think there's a fine line. It should always be a working together standpoint. So everyone generates revenue and everybody has the bag and secure the bag. And then everybody continues to grow, but also the union dealing with the protection of the employee when it comes to working along the corporation, working along the business they are contracted to on behalf of defending employees, right? Because we all have biasness, things can get misconstrued. So helping understanding to keep things in check when it comes to the employee in the company as a witness, as a third party who can oversee things when it comes from an employee standpoint, but also working with the company, not being against the company. So not to go off topic, just speaking from a business perspective, but let's be crystal clear. This isn't just a Sophia Cunningham problem. The refereeing crisis is an epidemic, and Sophia is just one of the ones who had enough of pretending it isn't happening. The officiating has become so bad that it's now the central storyline of the entire season. And you don't have to look far for proof, right? Just watch Caitlin Clark. We all seen the clips of her, hands on her head in disbelief, pleading with officials. We seen her get so frustrated that her own coaches have to physically hold her back to the sideline to stop her from getting a tech. During one game against the Storm, after a blatant foul was missed right in front of an official, a hot mic caught Clark's voice shouting in pure disbelief, "You were right in front of her." That's what Caitlin Clark said. And she's the league's brightest star, bringing in millions of new viewers, and she's spending half her time battling the other team and the other half battling the refs. And she's not alone. Far from it. From Angel Reese to Kelsey Plum to Natasha Cloud, stars and veterans across the league have all voiced their frustrations. Now, I'm not talking about voicing their frustrations for things to go their way, but actually officiating the league, rightfully so. I can be objective. I'm not so much of a Angel Reese fan, but it doesn't absolve the point I'm trying to make here. I can be very objective and call for what it is, and what's right is right, is wrong. After a game where she was getting battered on her drives, Kelsey Plum went off in a press conference saying, "I drive more than anyone in the league. So to shoot 6 free throws, you can look it up, is effing absurd." That's what Kelsey Plum said. Even the coaches are at their breaking point. You got Aces coach Becky Hammon, after another frustrating loss, basically dared the league define her. walking out of a press conference saying, "Tell me how much my fine is." After one particularly rough game, Fever coach, when she was the coach, former coach now, Chrissy Sides told reporters, everybody in this league is getting better except the officials. Last year, when Chrissy Sides was the coach of the Indiana Fever. When the coaches, the people tasked with keeping their cool, are openly mocking the league's fine system and calling out incompetence, you know the problem is out of control. What we are witnessing is a complete loss of faith in the people supposed to be the arbiters arbiters of the game, I should say. Now, I will not play the audio due to copyright purposes, but you guys get the point, and you probably all right. So she basically say, "Are you stupid?" And it says at some refs, or and then she said, "Are you slow?" Because that's part of the lyrics of the song. Maybe useless, right? So this is Sophie Cunningham speaking about her $1,500 fine. Check it
We were
out.
talking about like our first week, what people had to say. Well, the WNBA fined me for
No! You got fined for episode 1?
dude. They fined me $1,500. I'm like, what? I'm like, this is just the beginning. I was like, you're kidding.
Oh, way. I'm glad that you saved that for this and didn't text me, because that's unreal.
Now, you see how she just said, this is just the beginning. Run that back, run that back, run that back. That's crazy. That's hilarious.
I'm glad that you saved that for this and
$1,500. I'm like, what? I'm like, this is just the beginning. I was like, you're kidding.
Oh, way. I'm glad that you saved that for this and didn't text me, because that's unreal. I mean, it's like, it's cool for the pod, but that's kind of a bummer. Do they, when you get fined, do they put like verbatim, like quote here, like this is why you're being fined and this is why it's this much? Or is it like, hey, quit talking shit on us, Venmo us like 1,500?
What happens is they email our GM, and she pulls me aside and she goes, "Come here, Soph, I have to talk to you." And this was in like front of everybody. And I was like, "What did I do now?" And she just smiled and she goes, "Hey, they're gonna find you again." They're like, I was like, I even told them, I even credited them that their job was hard. I did say that. And I said that I would not be good at it. I did say that. Like, look at the whole picture. What are we doing? But yeah, so I got fined for that.
So, what's the most disgraceful call you have seen this season? I know you have one. Let me know in the comments below. And if you're tired of the league silencing players and ignoring the fans, do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. We have to keep the pressure on because it's clear they aren't going to fix this on their own. So, with players yelling, coaches fuming, and fans in an uproar, what has been the official response from WNBA headquarters? What grand plan have Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and head of officiating Monty McCucken rolled out to fix this mess? Basically, nothing. Actually, worse than nothing. Their main strategy seems to be punishing anyone who complains. Think about the priorities here. Sophia Cunningham makes a TikTok and a podcast comment, and the league's disciplinary hammer comes down fast. Yet, when players are getting physically hammered on the court in ways that endanger their careers, the whistles are silent. This isn't just about bad calls anymore, it's about player safety. The wild inconsistency, let them play one night, ticky tack fouls the next, creates a dangerous environment where players have no idea what's legal. Fans and analysts have been begging for a simple, common sense solution that already exists in the NBA. A last 2 minute report. This is a public report that reviews every call and non call in the last 2 minutes of a close game, offering transparency and accountability. And it doesn't change the game's outcome, but it forces the league to admit when its officials messed up, and it builds trust. So why doesn't the WNBA have this? The official excuse has been a lack of resources. A lack of resources. In a year of unprecedented growth, when viewership is shattering records and new expansion teams are being announced, the excuse isn't just flimsy, it's insulting. It suggests the league either thinks its fans don't deserve transparency, or more cynically, It's not how bad the reports would look and would rather hide the mess. The silence from the top isn't just neglect, it's a deliberate choice to put image control over the game's integrity. So, with the league office choosing to look the other way, a rebellion is brewing, and Sophie Cunningham has become its unlikely leader. Her fines aren't a punishment, they're becoming a badge of honor. She is leading a charge that the league seems totally unprepared for, and one fueled by player frustration and amplified by a massive, energized fan base that is sick of being ignored. And this is the solution. If the league refuses to police itself, the players and fans will do it for them. Every podcast, every viral clip of a missed call, every outraged comment section, and every video like this, one chips away at the league's ability to pretend this isn't a five-alarm fire. And this movement isn't about tearing down the WNBA. It's the exact opposite. It is a desperate plea to save the league from itself. Fans are showing up in record numbers because they love the product, the players, and the game. Or I should say they love the Indiana Fever franchise. But and we love the franchise because it's wholesome players that actually enjoy the game and they're just pure and wholesome and just play basketball and just ball out. But besides the point, but that love is being tested when the outcome of games feel like it's being decided by a bad whistle. We are demanding a product that respects the skill and effort of the athletes on the court, and we are demanding a league that protects its stars, not one that lets them get beat up while fining anyone who dares to point it out. The power dynamic is shifting. The league used to control the narrative. But in the age of social media, player-led podcasts and instant replays shared millions of times, they can't hide it anymore. Sophie Cunningham's crime was holding up a mirror to the WNBA. Now that league has seen its reflection, it's trying to smash the mirror instead of fixing what it sees. But there are too many mirrors now, and we are all holding one. So here we are. The WNBA has a full-blown officiating crisis on its hands. It's not a conspiracy, and it's not just sour grapes from losing teams, as the commissioner once suggested. It is a disaster that threatens the legitimacy of the entire competition. Sophie Cunningham's fines are the most glaring symptom of this disease. The league is punishing her honesty rather than confronting the ugly truth she represents. The WNBA is at a crossroads. Down one path, they can keep being tone deaf, find their players into silence, and hope the problem magically goes away. Down the other, they can listen. They can implement real transparent solutions like the L2M report, the last minute 2 minute report. Invest seriously in referee development and start protecting the very players who are the reason for their success. Or I should put it like this: the reason that they are seeing more success than ever in decades. And the question is no longer if the officiating is a problem. The question now is, will the league do anything about it before a star player gets seriously hurt, or before the fans, the lifeblood of this league, finally decide they had enough and just tune out? The ball is in your court, WNBA. Don't fumble it. If you agree that the league needs to stop finding players and start fixing the refs, drop a spicy Sophia Sophia in the comments below. And thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.